Here goes a test recording just to make sure that the gain and everything is where it's supposed to be. How are you, Albatross?
What the hell's up with that announcer voice? He's just like,
Hey, how you doing? My name's JuPodRe.
That's what I do. That's what I do. It's part of my persona. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of JuPodRe, the conversational podcast with absolutely no roadmap. I am JuPodRe.
I'm Albatross17 with our unofficial Wild Bills.
Support us.
Yes. Wild Bills soda.
And I'm Glean.
Hey, guys. We're back in the pod.
So, I love Wild Bills soda.
So check this out. I have sent at least 2 emails and a Facebook message to Wild Bills asking if they have some sort of partnership program, affiliate program like what we have with Soesic or anything.
Just send me free soda. You don't have to pay me.
And I have received no response.
Well, maybe we'll do what Eureka does, and hey, Wild Bills soda. I love you just as much as I love Dr. Pepper. I do.
That is really impressive.
Gatling Grape was impressive.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And I'm saying that for free. Anyway, it's been a while since we've been in the pod.
Yeah, that is true. And I'll be honest, it took a little bit of convincing for me. I don't care to go into details or anything, but
That's fine. Politics, bro.
It did take a little convincing, but here I am. I am very glad to be here with you guys. I am sorry that Bleen is out of the shot.
Oh, well.
Get back in the corner. Where you belong.
So, guys, I had a strange revelation on... Where was I? I think I was going to lunch today, and there was a Pepto-Bismol commercial. And you guys know the jingle, right? Their little song.
Remind me.
It's
nausea, heartburn, indigestion. Hey, Pepto-Bismol.
It's nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Hey, Pepto-Bismol.
I don't watch commercials
Okay,
anymore,
that's fine.
so
That's fine. But
It's been the same for 20 years, probably longer.
hey, you know what? They could have changed it. They changed the crap. Now I'm having a brain fart. On the corner of 7200 South and
Shane Company.
Shane Co. They changed that. I'm like, why would you change it? Everybody
we'll
knew it.
get to that one in a minute. But since we have had the experience of going to a recording studio and doing that, you know that things are done in layers, right? So when doing vocals, you don't put everyone in the vocal booth at the same time.
No.
You do one at a time.
Yeah, they're actually each separate, so they have their own track.
Exactly.
And then you put them together.
So I want to know what it's like to be the guy who sings the last word of that jingle.
Diarrhea?
Yeah. I listened to the commercial. It's diarrhea. It's like, it's so intense. And he's got the tone and the vibrato. And I just... You have one line.
Hold on. Hey, I just got another gig for you. You just have to say one word into a microphone. Hey, what is that? Diarrhea.
And that's what I was thinking about. Like, could you imagine getting that call or going in and seeing the script and it's just one word and it's like,
diarrhea.
Seriously?
Now, here's the question. What would you say if that came up to you?
I would say yes. I would have
been like, this is the joke, right?
I would have just started laughing. And then I would have to like calm down and get my composure back, and then right when the music's going, I would start laughing again. It would take me like 6 takes.
Oh yeah, no, I remember being on the other side of that where you have to get the microphone and start laughing. But that would be funny, diarrhea.
Yeah,
saying that.
You have one job.
Or how about the guys that record the commercials that say, I have genital herpes. And I'm just like, do you have to get paid more because it's embarrassing like that?
Well, you know that it's a voice actor and not the person with the actual
Some people
thing.
take it serious though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it was so funny for me, at least, to think about that, and then coming here and the or the same with like Cialis or Viagra.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably voice actors, not actual people with those problems.
You know what Viagra's line should have been?
What's that?
Viagra, go big or go home.
Oh no.
That would have been good. Yeah.
So and I just thought that was really funny, but You know, going back to the Shane Company thing, you have a really good
That
point.
annoyed me, when I heard that, because I started singing the jingle. Now you have a friend in the diamond business. Shane Company on the corner of 7200 South and State. Open weekdays till 8, Saturday till 5, closed Sundays. But I started singing it, and I'm like, who the hell is this new guy on this commercial? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this garbage?
Well, I agree with you, but I am also glad with the change they made. Because
but
it makes more
everybody
sense.
noticed the change.
Well, of course they did. Because like you said and like Bleen alluded, that commercial has been the same until like the last 7 years?
No, I think, was it 7 years ago they changed it?
It's been a bit now, but like it was the same since I was a kid. I remember going into middle school, someone was like, all right, we're talking marketing. Who knows the Shane Company? And like
Everybody
the entire
does.
class.
Everybody.
30 kids in the class just started spouting it off. And they're like, it's boring, it's monotone, but you remember it, so it's successful.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if we had been indoctrinated with it that long so that at 13 we all knew it, you know, it was the same for, like Bleen said, 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And then it's suddenly, instead of having a friend in the diamond business, you have a friend in the jewelry business. Yeah, we're going to notice.
You have a friend in Shane Company.
Oh, I do agree with the change, though, because it's...
Oh, I'm not saying it was wrong. I'm just like, but that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Kids these days won't know.
No, they will never know. That's fascinating to think about.
Think about a lot of the stuff that when we're older, that we remember that kids won't. So we were talking about commercials. Do you remember as a kid when the commercial came on and you just, as fast as you could, you got up, you ran to the bathroom, or you ran to get your snack, come back and make it right before the commercial was over, and oh, I made it.
Yep.
Kids these days don't know that because they can pause TV.
Yep.
Netflix, no commercials. Hulu, why would you pay for the commercial package?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I actually got rid of that because when you have Disney Plus, you can get the extra package.
Mhm.
No, it's with the commercial, so I was like, cancel that shit. No. Yeah, but kids these days won't remember that.
Another thing that most modern people will not ever know is playing a console game with corded controllers.
And if you moved, you froze the console, and
Yep.
it wasn't, go back to your check spot. It's like you'd start all over.
I remember needing to jump through the wires like an obstacle course because my siblings were playing and I had to get somewhere, and they're like, no, get out of the way.
Don't touch my cord. Don't touch my cord.
It is a life that is so foreign to today's technologies. I thought about that the other night. I was like, wow, how? They just can't understand.
Well, think about this too. Kids, when we were back in the day, we brought our controller to their house so that we could play. I mean, just like you would take like your computer, your keyboard.
Yeah.
No, we took our controller. Kids these days don't do that. If you have an Xbox, oh, yeah, dude, I got 5 controllers. Don't worry about it.
That's true.
Yeah. But no, I remember having to take my controller because and if somebody touched your controller, hey, you better not button mash.
Yeah.
It was a big thing because like when you started up your Nintendo 64, I'm like so excited. I'm talking so fast. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I remember I used to tell my sister, don't turn it on yet, because I'd have to put the stick in the very center so that way I wasn't running to the left while I wasn't pushing it.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah. My dad also used to get the off-brand ones.
Oh.
Yeah, so they didn't actually have the full control, so it was even worse. He had to make sure it was like completely set up. All the buttons were like not mashed in because my brother was a button masher.
Mm. So I have 2 questions for you.
Okay, I have 2 answers for you.
You actually were in Chicago when we did the other episode with P. Diddley?
Yes.
Isn't this a little reminiscent of what we talked about that episode with because he is 10 to 11 years younger than us, and so we gave him a whole bunch of old sayings and things.
You make me feel old, dude.
I'm sorry. Stuff like rolling down the window or pick up the phone, all those things.
Yeah.
This is actually really similar.
Did you do
discussion.
the one? Did you hand him something to see if he knew what it was?
No, it was all virtual.
Oh damn.
But so that's one. Second, oh shoot, what was my second question? I had it. Oh yes, I saw a picture once of people using N64 controllers. And you know, you typically had your right hand on the side to use your buttons, and your left hand in the center
right
to
where the
use
joystick
the
is, because you had Z right here.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever see the picture of people holding the joystick with their right hand, just thumb and index finger.
Why even play?
No, I have seen that photo, and it just annoys me. Like, that's not how people play. That's not how you play. Can you imagine when we're older and this new generation, they're just going to be like all virtual with their holograms. We're going to be like, yeah, well, we remember the day we had, because we were like the last generation that had all that.
Yeah.
You know, where we had the sensitive controllers, the wires, the non-working wireless, where it's like, oh no.
The introduction of the rumble pad.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the Nintendo 64, I know I love how we're going like really old retro.
Mm-hmm.
You had the Rumble Pack, but then you had the Rumble Pack that had the extra memory slot too.
Oh my gosh.
So, I feel like this is a good time to bring up what today's kids might not ever remember. Like,
DSL.
Dad,
Get off the phone!
cash and coins.
Oh yeah.
They are seriously considering going to a cashless system. It will all be on a credit and debit cards.
That is fascinating.
Do you know how many people I run into? They're like, yeah, so are you paying cash or card? I'm like, it's 2020. It's card.
2021 now.
Yeah. Or the new one, would you like a receipt? No, I have my receipt right here. No. Yeah.
So imagine how much paper we're going to save if that happens, right? Everything is digital, so they no longer need those rolls of that silly receipt tape.
Yeah, a lot of them won't even, like, I like how it asks now, do you want a
Yeah.
receipt? I'm like, no. Save your damn treat.
When I worked at the training table, we found a cool little trick. You know how those printers work, right?
They use, like, really high heat.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did is my boss one day was like, hey, check this out. And he, clicked a little bit. We got, 3 inches of paper. And he held it over the broiler and the whole paper just went black.
Oh, yeah, we did that with a hair straightener once.
Nice.
Because my dad used to use my sister's hair straightener when he was trying to get, like, rid of a receipt from the bank. So he just...
Oh my gosh. I just realized that has applications outside of goofing off in a kitchen.
Yeah, my dad used to do it with my sister. She hated it. You're gonna mess up my hair straightener. I bought it.
Well, that's a good point. But bank receipts, getting rid of the information.
That's what my dad used to do.
Oh my gosh, I never thought about that.
Yeah, he used to take his bank receipts and he used to do it all the time.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. I didn't. I just threw it away because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Now I'm way different. I don't use that though, but.
Yeah, I usually just rip them in, stuff with sensitive information on it. I rip it into 3 things and throw it into 3 different garbage sacks.
Oh, there you go. I think that's legitimate.
Yeah, I've also taken like a can and just burned it all.
See, that's what I used to do when we lived in Pleasant Grove. Yeah, we would keep all our... No, it was when we moved to Taylorsville, we would then keep all of our important documents because we had an actual fireplace.
I remember you did that, yeah. Because I remember you were like, you told your wife, hey, go grab the paper, and you used to use that to light your fire.
Yep,
I remember that.
Yeah, instead of shredding it or anything like that, that's what we would use to start our fires.
Yeah.
But then we had to move out of that house, and we had a box full of paper. So that was one of the last things we did is we actually took that box, we lit a fire, and then put the box on the fire, and it burned, no joke, it burned for like 12 hours.
That's awesome.
It kept going.
That's awesome.
Because the layers kind of smothered the flame when it got in there, so it ended up just crumbling into ash.
So it was just like falling, light back up, falling, light back up.
Yeah, it was so awesome. Weird. But yeah, things that's what, and to think this all started with a Pepto-Bismol commercial.
I don't see commercials anymore. See, that's the thing. I remember having the commercials growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, somebody would be like, hey, go grab the popcorn. Okay, you're making the popcorn. You gotta time this right. 2 minutes to grab it out, run. It's back on! Oh no! Ah! You're running back to to your seat, and somebody stole your seat.
Somebody stole your seat, and you forgot the second most important thing on the counter, and you have to go back and get it.
And if you missed it, you'd have to wait either later that night when they were redoing the show, if it was a new episode, or like
2 a.m.
or a week later. Yeah.
To get the precursor to the newest episode. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I remember.
I will tell you this. Since I have a kid, I have told... So my parents raised me, you don't do anything on a weeknight. You can't do it because you gotta make sure you're ready for the next day. Screw that idea. But going forward, that my parents didn't really let me have my Friday and Saturday nights. I could stay up like an extra hour, hour and a half.
Okay.
I hated that. All my friends were like, "Yo, we're gonna play video games all night." My parents, "No, you're not gonna do that." Ugh. They always made us read right before we went to bed, even on the weekends. But I want my kid to enjoy what used to be Friday and Saturday night for a kid. It was, yeah, my friends and we're gonna watch movies, we're gonna play video games, we're just gonna enjoy it. It's like that was it. I'm not going to school. Yeah, I miss days like those.
I do too. That could be another great discussion for another time because my growing up was it's a great discussion for another time is what I'm gonna say.
Okay, well then let's do this. We're talking about our childhood. I'm gonna bring this up really quick. Stuff from the 90s.
It was the 90s. Holy crap. Dude, that was 30 years ago.
Okay, let's see it. Let's see if 50 things only people who lived in the 90s will remember, okay?
I thought you were setting it down for another episode. You're actually going to quiz us now.
Well, this is just stuff from the 90s. Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
The pain of seeing your Tamagotchi die?
Tamagotchi.
Okay.
Yes.
I actually never had one of those.
I never did.
I thought they were stupid.
I had something bigger. I had the little robot that would learn until batteries died.
And then you had to replace the batteries, and all its memory was gone.
If it didn't have power for more than 30 seconds.
Oh gosh!
Back when you had that, you had 30 seconds. Otherwise, all your save data was gone. Okay.
I do remember the Tamagotchis. My sisters had them. I did not.
Singing along to the AOL dial-up noise.
Oh no! What was the actual noise? When you actually linked up, there was a noise.
There was something that you got mail.
Welcome. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was that. What was the sound?
I don't remember.
I remember Windows XP is bing ba boom boom ding ding. I remember that one, but I can't remember AOL.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on then.
Okay.
Okay. The next, I didn't drink this one because my again, if my parents listen to this, I love you, but you guys were cheap. Drinking Hi-C Ecto Cooler from Ghostbusters.
I never got the Ecto Cooler, but Hi-C was very popular.
I will post this, but that's what it looked like.
Huh.
I don't remember that, but I remember the green, purple, and pink ketchup.
That, yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I ate a lot of hot dogs.
The green, I'm like, no,
Okay,
I'm not using the green.
I never think of this. My mom watched it. I didn't, but wondering if Ross and Rachel would ever get back together.
Oh, Friends?
you knew exactly what it was.
So, admission here, I have never watched Friends, and I started trying it, and
it's not something I could get into myself.
I'll say it's too old. It doesn't entertain
I think
me.
it doesn't entertain me either. But my mom used to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was on TV. Number 5, trying to determine which Spice Girl you were like the most.
I never did that.
I did.
My sister probably did.
Back in 2nd grade, you would dress up for Halloween, right? When you went to school. No joke. There were fights, almost literal fist fights, when they would come as the same Spice Girl.
That's funny.
It was Baby Spice, and it just, oh my gosh, it was the most incredible thing, because I didn't even know who the Spice Girls were.
I didn't care for them.
Neither did, and now I don't.
But I remember the popular bands at the time being Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Spice Girls, Britney Spears.
98 Degrees.
98 Degrees. You had Eiffel 65.
Oh, Eiffel 65. Okay.
Okay, moving on. The next, this one I do remember. Getting excited to show off and kids these days will not know this term, but your trapper keeper at school.
I don't know what a trapper keeper. Oh, what the? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, back when
I know
you
that
had to have the coolest binder ever.
I never actually was into that.
See, I was into that. I got the one that had the 3 rings. It was the zipper that had the flap that was Velcro on the front that held everything you needed. But my parents were too cheap to get me that one. I still had to get the cheap backpack. Oh, well. I do remember this one. Getting the joy of getting the last copy of a movie at Blockbuster.
A freaking man.
But it was horrible because they were never rewound. How much money do you think Blockbuster made just on those fees?
A lot. So, just real quick aside with that, did you guys know that there is a separate machine called a rewinder?
Yes.
It's not built into the VCR, so you could pop in your next tape and rewind the other one while this one was playing?
Yeah. My buddy had one. It was the coolest thing ever until it malfunctioned and it rewound it too hard and ripped the tape. Yep.
So we used them. My wife didn't know they existed.
What?
No, I am not kidding. I talked to her about this because I said, yeah, we should get, because I have an old VHS player and a couple of movies that I wanted to show her. And I talked to her about it and she was like, we never had that. I said, are you kidding? She said, no, we literally had to wait. If I wanted to watch a movie, I had to wait till theirs was over. It finished rewinding and then put my tape in. And I about cried for her because that was super sad.
Wow. Okay.
So, okay.
Okay, so here's, I'm skipping a few because some of them, like, I didn't do this at all and none of my friends did. But I do remember this one. Eagerly taking pollution down to zero with Captain Planet.
Oh, boy. I remember Captain Planet, but I don't remember any characters' names.
I don't either, but I'm looking at, I just remember the rings.
I vaguely remember the name, and that's about it.
So you have your 4 basic elements, right? It was earth, water, air, fire, and then the last one was some little Indian guy going, heart! That's all I remember.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's 5 of them right there. Yeah, but I used to watch that. So this one I used to wake up every morning and watch. It was having a huge crush on at least one Saved by the Bell cast member.
Never watched Saved by the Bell.
You didn't watch that? Did you watch that?
Yes.
Yeah, did you know they came out with the college edition too?
Oh, that one sucks.
Gosh.
It was not as good.
Oh.
No. Wishing Your Dad Was as Cool as Robin Williams and Miss Doubtfire.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I never wish my dad was cooler than he is because I think he's awesome. I love Robin Williams, but I have never seen Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh.
No.
Movie night.
I am
We're doing a movie night
impressed.
sometime.
I need to put that on my list. I have a list of movies.
Okay, well, I'm impressed. Okay, while you're doing that, the next one is, this one's starting to come back a little bit. The slap bracelet.
Yeah.
That one's actually starting to come back.
I remember that.
Oh yeah, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
I remember that.
Ooh, I did have one of these until my brother broke it, but a Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
I had not the original Game Boy, but the Game Boy Advance, which was not color.
Yeah,
I had a Game Boy Advance, and I even had the attachment so that when you could play in the dark, because it had the screen that came over and lit it up. Yeah, and then I got a Game Boy Color, and my brother broke it.
So 2 things. Let's do one more.
Okay.
But you talked about the Game Boy Advance that had the light over. Do you remember all the crazy attachments for the Game Boy Color?
There were so many attachments.
Because we had a light. We had a light. It looked like a weird alien eyeball, and it plugged into that one port on the side.
Yeah, and you could and it had that new technology of the metal that you could bend and put it in whatever spot you want.
Yes, it was flexible, and there were
flexible. That's what I was looking for.
And there were other accessories too. Like there were certain games that could use little guns or different controllers and adapters and stuff. But yeah. You don't need that anymore because consoles are basically giant computers and you can do everything with your controller. So it's a lost art, I would say.
Okay, so this last one I've kind of gone through the list a little bit to look. And so I'm going to go with one that was really, really big on us, but it was, I'm going to read it word for word, being disappointed when your Discman's anti-skip protection didn't deliver.
Oh, boy. Howdy, yes.
Do you remember that when it used to have the
do.
anti-skip? So it would start spinning. You're like, "Where's the music?" But it was because it was reading it 1st so that it could back itself. RAM, basically. Essentially, yeah. I remember mine did not always work.
Yeah.
What was worse is when there was like a big drop that it just skipped.
Well, because you knew also that big drop, you could also fill it when the disc made that weird sound. You're like, oh no, my disc! You had to look, you're like, oh, the big ring around it because it touched the laser.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But even, I think what Bleen is meaning is the musical drop.
Yeah.
You know, where it builds up and it goes, boom, but then it would skip right as the boom was supposed to happen.
Oh, yeah, right when you were, okay, I do remember.
You're ready to throw your head in the headbang and it skips and you're like, I
needed that.
Absurdly disappointing.
Yep.
Well, guys, thank you for entertaining that with me. I thought about that.
The 90s, man.
I thought about that thing at lunch, and I am very pleased with where the conversation went. I think that was a lot of fun. Feeling very nostalgic right now, but I think we need to move forward with What the F. Today's episode is brought to you by Virtual Performance. Via the internet, they provide personal fitness training, meal planning, and coaching, all of which are important for staying healthy. Virtual Performance will not only help develop your physical strength and endurance, but also your mental fortitude. This will improve your life and your gaming skills. Even professional gamers have training regimens. That means the rest of us need one too if we're going to get as good as they are. So, find Virtual Performance online at trainingvp.com, on social media at TheTrainingVP on both Twitter and Instagram, or send them an email, info@trainingvp.com.
Yes, we are. And so, let me wake up my computer. It just went to sleep.
Yeah, about 4 seconds ago.
I know. I had it up because originally I thought we weren't gonna do this digitally. So
Yeah.
okay. So I am gonna do this from here. So I apologize, but last week we had 3 nominations. We had Usefoot, Totes Cray Cray, and Grocery Trouble.
Indeed.
So last week, Usefoot didn't get a single vote.
I'm sorry.
Probably because the other 2 were Cray Cray and Grocery Trouble. Grocery Trouble won hands down.
Yay!
But I gotta agree with that one. To be like, hey, no, I scheduled this at 8 p.m. because I have to work at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, so
I really thought I had that one.
It was close.
it was. I didn't get a single vote. It wasn't even close to me, okay? Because you had some good nominations.
I will say, Bleen, yours was crazy. Like, I don't think I've ever heard... hold on. I listen to the radio in the mornings. I hear crazy stories. I don't think I've heard one from someone that's so close to me that has been that crazy. I don't listen to the boners anymore. The radio station that does that has turned me off by a lot of their topics that they talk.
That happened to me a long
those.
time ago.
They're very political towards one side.
Yeah, and I don't care for that. So I went to a different radio station that just has a couple goofballs, and it's much more pleasing to me.
That's good. Well, I appreciate that. So
right.
Since you won last week, you can choose to go first, or one of us can go first.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So my family had to postpone Christmas.
Mhm.
We did it over Zoom because a few members of my parents' household, actually in the house, came down with COVID. Everyone is fine. Everyone is fine. Everyone is healthy. We waited out all of the quarantine periods. We waited a week longer than the quarantine period. You know, we made sure to be careful. I have 2 nephews and 2 nieces. No, I have 3 nieces. One of which is too little to be taking part in anything, but the other 4 like to wrestle. And so it's 4v1 all the time. All 4 of them are just climbing and jumping on me, and I have to pull them off and like throw them into bean bags and tickle them and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. But we took a break to get some water, and my younger nephew is going to turn 3 on the 18th, and he went for a cup that had no lid and was pretty full of water. And I was like, hey, hold on. Your cup is over here. You know, he has one of the little sippy cups. And he said, no, I want that one. And he's extremely verbose. I don't know how he learned to talk this quick, but everything I'm telling you is almost word for word.
Okay.
I'm not translating.
Okay.
I said, this isn't yours. Your cup is over there. But that is mine. I said, no, it's not. He said, yeah, I just filled it up. And I said, no, you didn't. 10 seconds ago, you were with me in the living room wrestling. You did not fill up this cup. This is someone else's. Yours is over there.
Pause. Is this making you laugh because of the story or because he's in an argument with a 3-year-old?
Yeah.
An argument with a 3-year-old.
I understand.
Guilty, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But yeah, what the F? You can't trick me. You did not go to the fridge, put ice, which was in the cup, and water in a cup, put it on the table, go wrestle for 10 seconds, and then come back in the time that I was with you in the other room. You did not.
I can see him arguing with a 3-year-old over this, and the 3-year-old's like, are you done? Because I'm just going to say, yes, I did.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. But I ended up winning. Do you know why?
Why?
Because my arms are 3 feet longer than his.
So you were able to grab it harder?
Oh, yeah. I put it in the middle of the table and said, go drink your water. This one is yours.
I've done that. Yeah, we'll reach for it now.
Yeah. But he looked at me and just not part of, I guess part of the story. We took a break earlier than that, and I said, it's a water break. And he's sitting there, I'm drinking my milk. And he takes a drink of milk. I'm like, okay, that's good, but you need some water. I'm going to drink milk. Okay, milk helps your bones, but you need water to help everything else. This is helping. And he took another drink of milk. I said, listen, you can drink as much milk as you want, but you need at least 3 swallows of water. Where's your cup? And he points to the green pop-up one, and he does take the drinks, but this is helping. Oh, I want to beat that kid sometimes. I love him to death.
I have a 3.5-year-old, so I know how these arguments go. Yep. You don't win even when you win.
Mm-hmm. So, let's call it arguing with a 3-year-old, if that'll fit.
You want me to go next?
Oh, no, I was asking for your approval on the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good? Okay.
If it doesn't fit, I'll do some variation.
I might want to change it to 2 3-year-olds arguing.
I accept. I accept.
You're willing to get in an argument with a 3-year-old. That was your own fault.
All right. Let's let Bleen go next.
Okay.
Okay, so this one is very technical, but I'm going to try and just
dumb it down
and make my point.
Okay.
So at work, we use 2 different programs that are meant for daily use. And then there's a third program that kind of manages the database for how these 2 programs communicate with each other and use data. And it's got multiple spreadsheets in there that it coordinates between the 2. And so there was one spreadsheet in there that wasn't updating to program A.
Okay.
But all the other spreadsheets and information in there were pulled into program A. And they were everything was seen in program B just fine.
Okay.
So I called tech support to get my answer. How do I get this spreadsheet shown? Well, the tech guy that I talked to said, oh, you need to go use your old software to manage this spreadsheet rather than the new very expensive software that you just paid for. I said, no, we're getting rid of that software. There is no reason for us to keep the software just for this case. And then he's just like, okay. So we went into software in program A, which is a modified software from a different company. So it can do its own capability for that same thing. But I said, I want a management, everything in the same place.
Yeah.
Which just makes sense. And he basically said, you can't. So he goes and shows me how to do everything in that software. And I kept on saying, no, that's not my question. I know how to do it this way. You're not showing me anything new, but I want to do it this way because it just makes sense and it's more, you can follow it more in training future personnel.
Okay.
He would never get what I was saying, and eventually I had to tell him, you're not helping me, I will call somebody else. And he kept on trying to explain how I was wrong because 2 of my columns were titled different things. One's a material type and then the other one's the material name. So the name's the one that refers to the material type that refers to all other spreadsheets, so that you don't have a really long name that the type is. So it's just one column that says this looks like this equivalent. And he spent 30 minutes telling me I was wrong, when if I was wrong, none of the other data would have gone through to program A. So, long story short,
tech support sucks.
Tech support sucks.
I only said it because our tech support right now sucks too.
I think a lot of tech support sucks.
I think they just have so much on their plate that sometimes it just seems like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, I can.
But then I
can agree with that.
Then you do get the guys. It's like, dude, you were not listening.
True.
Yeah, I've had plenty where I'm like, no, you're not listening. I literally just said, it's like, okay. Do you approve? Tech support sucks?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with that.
All right.
Okay.
That means it's your turn.
Okay, so mine is about my in-laws,
Oh boy.
but not my mother and father-in-law.
Also, oh boy.
Grandmother-in-law.
Again.
So her husband has moved along,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she's losing it, and it's her house. But you know how everybody just roams around there. Well, my mother-in-law, we pay her to babysit our child. That's what she does during the day. That's how she makes her money, because we pay her, and my sister-in-law pays her as well. Pay her decent. And my grandmother-in-law has decided that she's sick and tired of the mess in the house. I'm like, well, they're kids. What do you expect? So she's made a new rule, and I'm like, I thought this rule was a different type of rules in place. And the new rule is we have to now call before we pick up our children, so that way the kid can pick up their mess, or the parents have to pick up the mess. And I had a conversation with her about it, because the rule makes sense to me. That's not what the F is. It's not what it was. I'm in my head saying, yeah, that makes sense. My kid should be picking up his mess.
Yeah.
But I text my mother-in-law every day when I leave work. Hey, I am on my way to pick up, I'm going to use my son's name, every day. So my kid knows to pick up after himself. He knows how to do that. I've seen him do it. But when I get there, a lot of the times, my in-laws are just sitting there. They're not making him clean up after themselves. So my grandmother-in-law told me, you need to pick up his mess. I looked at her and I said, no. I let you know that I was on my way to pick up my child. I have a business transaction with the babysitter who is responsible for everything my child does while she is watching him. Which means if she did not ask him to clean up his mess, when I told her I followed the rules, I'm not responsible for cleaning up that mess. That is on you. That is on her, because I pay you to be responsible. And she goes, no. And I'm like, no. At a daycare, you pay them to do what? Be responsible for your kids. Okay? They know when you're going to pick them up because you have to give them a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
What do they always do? They teach the kids, because that's their job. That's what you pay them to do, to teach them to clean up after themselves. Right? She doesn't say anything. I said, right. So, you being the babysitter, the daycare, I'm paying you to do this. So if that mess isn't cleaned up by the time I get here, but you didn't ask him to clean it up, that's on you. Anything that he does on your watch that you allowed him to do, or you weren't paying attention, so he got into, because again, you're not paying attention, is on you. So now she won't talk to me at the moment. My mother-in-law was not present for this conversation.
I believe that.
Because I have a lot of respect for her, because she does do a lot. She does a lot. She does. The grandmother-in-law, I'm like, hey, you don't get to tell me this when I'm paying you to do this. So, haven't said anything else. And I'm waiting for her to say something so I can say, okay, fine. If I have to pick up his mess, then I'm deducting from your pay because I'm doing your job.
I think that's fair.
So I'm waiting for that. So because she went quiet when I was like, no, this is a daycare. This is what happens at a daycare. I think it turned the clock in her head to where she was like, damn it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I am on your side 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is someone not taking responsibility when they have offered such responsibility. I'm with you.
And I followed through on my end of the bargain.
Correct. So
yes.
Now let's put forth a scenario where he is cleaning up when you arrive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you then pitch in and help him, or do you say that you just gotta go? Do you wait until he's done?
For me, what I would personally do is, if I'm not in a hurry, let's just say it's a normal day, I would wait for him to clean up his mess.
Okay.
And be telling him, hey man, you gotta clean up. But I want him to learn to kind of feel like, oh man, my dad's here, I need to clean up. I need to clean up. So that's what I would do. If it was like a huge mess, and it doesn't happen too often, I might jump in and help a little bit. And be like, yeah, come on, dude, we're going to clean up just to help, you know. But for the most part, let him do it. But if they were like blatantly, like sometimes I walk in and they're still playing with Play-Doh.
All right. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I'm like, no. When that happens, I grab the Play-Doh that he has in his hand or on his plate, because they have like a little plate they put on, and I put it back in the bucket.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's all I do. I just put it back in the bucket. Okay, dude, let's go. But I don't clean anything else up, because I'm like, I told you I was on my way.
Yeah.
You should have had this cleaned up. Why is he still playing with Play-Doh?
And see, like I said, I'm on your side, and I agree with everything you said, and I think those answers are 100% satisfactory.
Yeah. Now,
I see no reason.
Now, if my kid did something stupid,
Right.
I could see me having to be responsible depending on what it is.
Mhm.
But what if you painted your wall, but you left the paint out? That's your fault, not mine. Because you shouldn't have left the paint out.
And you should have been watching the paint and
That
the kid.
says, only use in parental or guardian. But yeah, so that's where I'm at.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I agree.
Yeah. So to any parents, understand that I'm not saying that I shouldn't be responsible for my child. I'm just saying I pay somebody to do this. So why am I having to be responsible for somebody that I'm paying you to do this? Because I can't be responsible for him at that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
I'm with you. I agree.
Okay. So
may I stipulate for the listeners that if your in-laws were just doing you a favor and you weren't paying them, you would totally jump in and
oh my
clean up.
gosh, yes. If I was not paying them, I would be like, oh yeah, let me help clean up this mess. But I pay you to do this. Yeah.
I think that's what I was trying to get at earlier.
Yes.
But you nailed it. Because you're a nice guy and you help and you understand that there are things
There's a
and transactions
line where you just want to make it seem like, oh no, you know what? He helped out. It's fine. He helps out. Because like anytime you guys have watched my child, I'm like, hey man, do you want help cleaning up this mess?
Yep.
And you're like, yeah. Or like, no, don't worry about it. I got it.
Yeah, like if there are more kids around when you leave earlier than them, don't worry about it.
But
They're still playing.
But I still ask because it's courteous.
Yes,
it's
and you
very
always
courteous.
do. Yeah.
Even that's a big thing. Even if you know the answer is going to be no, don't worry about it. I still think it's courteous to ask because it's a sign of respect.
100%.
100%.
Agreed.
Awesome. Okay, so that's where I'm at on that. My what the F is just going to be, is business transaction ? Because in my opinion, that's a business transaction.
I agree.
We should have an agreement here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Money's involved.
Therefore-
It's a business transaction.
Aren't I paying you?
Ooh. I like that.
I like that. Aren't I paying you? But
Oh.
again, I didn't have that conversation from my mother-in-law because I've had plenty of fights with her where I'm like, when she has learned the boundary of, I'm the mother-in-law, I'm not your boss.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't pay my bills, you do not get to tell me what to do.
I agree.
But anyway, moving on from that, the 3 nominations are this week. Arguing with a 3-year-old. I might change that to 2 3-year-olds arguing.
I am okay if you change that.
That's
That
just
doesn't
so
bother
funny,
me at all.
Because I've been in an argument with my 3-year-old, and I'm just like, why am I arguing with you? Tech support sucks. And aren't I paying you?
So after this episode airs, we will have that tweet poll go up. Send your vote there, or if you don't use Twitter, send us an email.
Text message.
You can comment underneath the YouTube video, use Instagram, any of our other social media, which you can find at myslink.app/JuPodRe.
Spelled exactly how it sounds.
Hey, this is Blaine reminding you to check out SoesicGaming.com for quality clothing and other swag. Go check them out and use code JuPodRe on checkout for an additional 15% off.
All right, guys. On to announcements. First of all, I was supposed to do this at the beginning of the show, but can I tell you how happy and excited I was to name the last episode Boobs?
Do you remember what I said when I found that? 'Cause
Yeah.
we were at work when I was like, and he took me and I was like, boobs.
Yeah. Now, I am not sorry for the clickbait. I am not at all, because I think that's hilarious.
That's funny.
And it is the first clickbaity title that we've done.
Boobs.
I am not sorry. I think it was hilarious. It fit with the first thing we talked about, and I think it was a great success.
Yeah, I don't apologize for anything.
Yeah. So I want to know everybody's feedback about other changes we made in last week's episode. Our transitions were different. We changed a little bit of the production quality, where certain videos were, where certain sounds were.
And we're still working on it. So that's why we want your feedback.
Now, a lot of it was really experimental. You can ask Blaine that night when I was doing the editing, literally 12 hours before the episode aired, I finished doing everything. I was up till 2 or something like that with Bleen, and we were working on those transitions, and I built those backsplashes on my own. I got the type in. I figured out how to shrink the video and put the little fade ins and everything. It was all that night.
That's
and
awesome.
It was a lot of fun, and I hope that it turned out well, because I put a lot of work into it. I am very, very pleased with how it came out. And
So check it out on this episode.
oh yeah, and you
Let us know.
This one should be easier because it's in person.
yeah. So I will say that those who didn't watch the YouTube video will only notice a couple of the things, but those who watch, definitely send us emails or tweets or whatever else, because we put a lot of work into it and we want to make sure that it's stuff that you like.
Oh man, that
Right?
just like hit me.
And it was really unfortunate timing because it was right as I finished.
I know.
and
I
looked
was
at
just
you.
like, I just like had to take a deep breath. Anyway, but I don't have any announcements myself.
Okay, Bleen.
I don't either.
All right, then with that, we'll close this episode and we'll see you next week.
Bye. Thanks to everybody who joined us today on JuPodRe. We hope you had a great time, and we hope you join us next week. Don't forget to follow us on social media. On Twitter, we are at JuPodRe, at JuHodre, at Albatross17, at Bleen with 3 N's, and at Rated R LLC. We also have Instagram. Just look up any of our ats or at JuPodRe. Or hit us up on our Slink link. It's myslink.app/JuPodRe. Don't forget to vote for What the F. We hope to see you next week, my podlings.
Are we live?
Yeah, but I can. Let me restart it. My finger was